Hi, welcome to the class. I hope you all are doing very well, and we will be doing watercolor today. But before we do that, I would like to do some pencil sketch of the scene. So we have a minute or two left for the class to start. So I will just wait for just a couple more people to join maybe, or I'll start the sketching if that's okay.
Good job.
Would you have a quick question before we begin?
No.
Okay, so we are going to start with a sketch for which you will need a pencil, eraser, and a sketch paper. Just a small sketch of the scene. And after that, we will be starting with the watercolor.
Same paper is the paper watercolor paper?
It is up to you. You can do the sketch on watercolor paper, or you can do it on a separate paper and do the sketch again on the watercolor paper. Okay, it's up to you which paper you want to use. You can straight use the watercolor paper and do the watercolor on top of it. I am going to do it twice, just once to explain, and then I will do my sketch in my watercolor paper.
Thank you. Thank you, Kunal.
Thank you. So I'm going to do a sketch to explain. I have a 8x10 watercolor paper. I'm going to do the work. So I will create a same ratio in my sketch paper and do a quick sketch. Okay, so if this is my paper, then I am going to look at 1/3, and the top 1/3 and the bottom 1/3 is these are the lines, right? And so where do I want my horizon? I think I'm going to have a lot of, I think it's better if I do my horizon a little bit towards the top, not exactly at the middle, but a little bit towards the top. And these are decisions I'm making, right? And then I'll have some mountain ranges in the distance. And after that, I'll have a valley. And this is the water of the lake. And here is some rocks. Kind like this, okay? So this is going to be pretty dark, this area. This is the rock surface. And this is the horizon, straight. And this is the valley over here. And those are the mountains in the distance. And these mountains, this is darker than the one behind. There are 2 rows of mountains, okay? I have 2 rows of mountains, a valley, water, and I have the stones. But I also want a boat here. So the boat is going to be like this. These are the two people in the boat. This is just a rough sketch to give an idea. And there will be a reflection of these people in the water. That is today's scene. Okay. So with that, I will start drawing that scene in my watercolor paper. The horizon is best if the horizon is straight. So I'm going to use the ruler to make sure that my horizon is good.
Teacher, can you
Yes.
give me the first one picture? I make the photo. I never finish.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Con cứ phải rồi.
This is the picture I'm going to work from. Go ahead and take a snapshot, a screenshot if you want. Thank you. So, it's doing them. Okay, so that's my rough sketch. And of course there will be trees here later on. I can do that. There'll be rows of trees in this area in the valley. We don't need to draw everything, but this is the scene that I'm going to work with. Okay. So I have my paints in here. So I have some yellows, some greens, some blues, some red, orange color, also a turquoise color. And then I have mixed the three primaries to get a very dark color, which is here. So my yellow, my red, and my blue are my primary colors. But I also have some secondary colors such as the green, the orange, and this is mostly violet, but it's also pretty dark color. And and then I have some extra blue colors, so I'm gonna use these colors. But I do have a watercolor set also on my side, right? So if I want a special thing, I'll go in there. So for now, I'm gonna start with these colors. And
Still dry, Pamela? Dry? Wet and dry?
wet and dry. Yeah. Just give me a second. We are gonna have to. So I'll do a few different areas separately. Okay. So I'm gonna start with the sky. I'm gonna put water here. And I'll also put water here in the water. I don't want to wet the entire area. I will do that later on, but for now, let me get started with that. So I'll take my blue. Come in with some paper towel and just remove some water, some paint from the sky to create an effect of a cloud. Maybe put some water in these areas and remove more water from these areas so that I have a bright, beautiful sky.
Cut down. Oh, that.
Music.
Okay, so put that in for a minute. So this blue here is a turquoise blue color. And in the sky, I have some ultramarine blue. I will go and put a little bit of turquoise blue into the sky. Just a little bit to give it some color that is in the water is also in the sky. Okay, that it will look nice. It will look harmonious in colors. Do that. Just a tad bit of turquoise in the sky. Okay. I'm lifting some colors out to give it a cloud appearance in the sky. Remove a little bit of color so it's nice and light in the sky. Okay. I'm going to bring some violet color, bluish violet color into the distance. Very light, very minimum application, but I won't go close to the sky because it's wet right now. I will just be very careful, but I'll apply some of that color on my mountains.
Which color?
So this is wet on dry.
Wet on it. Yes.
Yeah, this part is wet on dry. The paper is dry over there. My sky is still wet. If you have a hair dryer, you can dry this area at this point. I'm just being careful, not going close to the blue too much, and putting this row of mountains in. Putting some purple into the water also. And while all that is drying, I'm gonna go and do some of the waves of the water over here. This is also wet on dry, this part. I'm putting two different colors, so it's becoming wet on wet. The two colors are mixing, okay? I'm doing color mixing here. The turquoise blue and the
Green.
ultramarine blue. They're mixing a little bit, okay? Because the turquoise is wet. So even though I'm doing wet on dry, but the two colors are mixing, if you know what I mean. But I'm not blending the two colors. I'm letting them mix with each other on the paper in a very organic sort of way. And then I will just go and darken this area also under the boat a little bit. Now, while all this is drying, I'm gonna go and do some of the lighter areas over here with a very light green, yellow green, light green color. This is also wet on dry.
No, look. Green.
I'm letting the two colors mix with each other again. The light green and the dark green. And I'll probably just take some yellow and put that there. Just be careful that you don't go into the purple. And while that is drying, I'll take a little bit more blue that I was using and put the mountains. Oh, that's too blue. So I'll take a little bit of violet into that blue and put a very light wash of violet in the background, these mountains here. Maybe I'll come and do some more turquoise in the water over here. Okay. While you do that, I'll work on my clouds a little bit. So put all that in, and I will give you a moment, but I'll be working on my clouds at this time. I will lift some colors out and make the white of the paper show a little bit more in the sky. Put all that in. I'm just working on my clouds a little bit. You can do that later if you want, but those of you who are painting with me, you can put in all the things that I did. And I'm just working on my sky, and then I'll come back and do the rest of the painting. So I'll come now and work on these mountains a little bit more. Let's make them a bit darker at the base. So these are a few layers of mountains in the distance, okay? Then I'll bring in some darker purple color again and do wet on wet to create the darker areas at the bottom.
فهمت ذلك. لذلك تم تصميم كل ما فعلته لإظهار الثقة والوضوح. بعد أن شاهدوا المنزل سأل الزوج مباشرة: ما هو سعرك النهائي؟
Can
لم
you please
تحدث الحرف.
mute your
اشتريناه مقابل 680 ألف دينار. إنه في موقع متميز بتصميم.
Thank you. Okay, so that's a start, okay? And then while all that is drying, right? I would maybe come and work on the stones in the front a little bit. So I'm going to put purple in this area also. And then I'll put some green on top of it. Sometimes the green is gonna mix up with the purple, that's okay. It should not come into the water, right? The water is dry by now, so that's okay. Kind of like moss, on the rocks. So I'm just going around the purple with the green. Trying to give a look of a moss, okay, on the rocks. Maybe I'll bring in some yellow color occasionally to give it and let the two colors play with each other. Wet on wet, like the two colors are wet, so they're gonna mix with each other a bit. So that's that. And then I'll finish up this area. Next, I'll bring in some of my darker purple color and I'll put that into these areas again. And if it mixes with the green, that's okay. Just don't cover the entire light purple that you just did. I'm not being too careful. I'm just letting them mix with each other if it's okay, because it's okay for the two analogous colors to mix with each other, okay? There. So make sure there is no white here. That's a little rocky area, which is also mossy on the left, okay? So now my water is wet, right? I'll let you catch up and I will work on them on my mountains in the meantime a little bit, okay? So you catch up. I'm just darkening my mountains a little bit. So I think I want to bring some turquoise into this area also. This is looking pretty, it could use some color in this area, just a little bit. Make sure you don't come to the green while you do that and stay away from that area completely so it doesn't mix with each other, okay? Just be careful. And this is I'm putting a little bit more turquoise here. I'll go and so now I'm going to do the next step, which is the boat. But before I do that, I want to make sure that the area around the boat is dry. Yeah. Okay, so that's good. And then I'll go into some red and put that into my boat. Okay. And then darken this area a little bit, but don't come into the red. Just maybe there could be a little white border. Just be careful, because the red is wet right now. That's it. Take a thin brush, size 0 brush. I'll take a size 0 brush and put some of this in. I'm now doing the reflection. I remove some of the color by mistake. I have some blue here. I'm going to remove from the color. So I'm just taking a thin brush soaked in water, and then I will go in and lift the paint from the face. Just gently scrubbing it in and removing it. And there. Okay. So working on the petals a little bit. Make a skin color using just like a peachy reddish color. Just a peach, like mix a little bit of red and orange and dilute it and put that on the face a little bit or the arms. So put that in while I work on the boat a little bit more. Hope you're enjoying yourself. Um, this is, I'm just doing some details in the front now, putting in some dark purple colors in the foreground. Okay. I'm checking if it's dry. It's pretty dry. I'm gonna come in and do some of my trees in the background now. So just wet on dry, and sometimes I would come with another kind of green color to give it a little bit of variation. Different slopes of land, different sizes of trees, overlapping trees, to pull to not create too much noise, but just enough so that it looks like there is a valley with pine trees and all of that. So while you do that, I'm going to darken this area just a tad bit more. I'll take some of my purple color and try to put in there is probably trees in this distance here. I'm going to just put in a little bit of not so smooth application of the color, but a little bit looks like there is some vegetation in the distance. Okay. So you can ask me if you have any question because I'm pretty much done with my work. Just put in some orange around the boat to make it stand out a little bit more. And I'll go into my face a little bit and see if I can distinguish the features a little bit more. Just a little hint of eyes and all that. And work on the figures a little bit more. I take a little bit of my dark green and work on the distance a little bit more, these areas. Some of the red and brighten up the canoe a little bit more. Not canoe, the boat. More like a just a regular boat, fisherman's boat maybe. Work on the reflection a little bit more. Yeah, I think if you have a question, I'll be happy to answer. I'm not sure what else I can do. Just working on the waves a little bit in the front. Let me put in some of the green here in the water, just a tad bit of reflection of the green. Okay, with that, I'm done for this painting.